Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has just had one of his biggest gambles yet end up going off completely according to plan. And so right this very moment, not only are the Democrats completely melting down, but also President Trump has been vindicated yet again. Now, as I'm sure you've all noticed, for the last several weeks, the Democrats have been absolutely screeching and raging over President Trump's $20 billion bailout of Argentina. But, well, as it would turn out, this $20 billion deal with Argentina was actually a little bit more of an investment and a little bit less of a bailout. And I'll tell you what, that investment is already paying dividends. You see, it was 8 days ago now, on October 20th, when President Trump finalized his $20 billion deal with Argentina, in which the Trump administration invested into the Argentinian peso. Then, on October 26th, just 2 days ago now, Argentinian President Javier Milei's political coalition went on to win their midterm elections in a colossal landslide victory. And so it's because of this series of events that now the Argentinian peso's value is absolutely skyrocketing, increasing in value by 10% in just the last 2 days, generating $2 billion for the USA as a direct result of President Trump's $20 billion investment. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, President Trump has just done it again. But you know what? For a little bit more information here, take a listen to what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had to say about all of this.
So you dispute the idea that America hurt itself by giving this $20 billion lifeline to Argentina. Can you guarantee Americans they'll be made whole on that?
Margaret, I can tell you that the Exchange Stabilization Fund has never lost money. It will not lose money this time. And we are not giving money to Argentina. It is a swap line, which the U.S. has done many times in the past, and we've never lost money.
And so, folks, like I said, not only have we not ended up losing money with this Argentina deal, but we actually ended up making money. But now, as Secretary Bessent mentioned, the Trump administration didn't just give $20 billion to Argentina. They used a program called the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which has been used over 100 times in the last 90 years to stabilize various foreign economies. And as a fun history fact here, every single time the United States has made use of this fund, we've actually ended up making money in the form of loan repayments with annualized interest rates. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the reality. This immediate success of President Trump's currency swap with Argentina, which is really more of a long-term investment than anything, has just completely shattered all of the progressive left's ongoing fear-mongering. As we all just witnessed, they spent weeks complaining about President Trump's deal with Argentina, which has already proven to be absolutely genius, where the Democrats were all more than happy to rob this country blind during the Biden era. The reality is, they just spent 4 years handing out tens of billions of dollars each and every year, no strings attached, to foreign countries around the world through programs like USAID, and that's not even factoring in all of the money that they spent on their beloved illegal aliens. Whereas now, the Trump administration is actively pursuing an approach to foreign aid that not only makes sense, but it also actually makes money. But folks, like I said earlier, right this very moment, the Democrats are absolutely melting down over this entire situation. One such Democrat is actually Senator Elizabeth Warren, aka Pocahontas. So I want you all to take a look at that situation, but first, I do want to say real quick that if you folks enjoy the daily news updates, please make sure to subscribe to the channel because it really does help a lot. But okay, check this out.
Warren sent you a letter asking about the Argentina bailout, why this is happening during the government shutdown. You said it's justified as an essential purpose. Can you explain your thinking on that?
Well, here we are today. I'm at work. The government is shut down. The Democrats, well, let's look at the numbers. It's 52 senators have voted, Republican senators have voted to reopen the government. 3 Democrats have, 52 to 3. Senator Warren isn't one of them. So Senator Warren is welcome to come to the Treasury's economic literacy classes to understand what we're doing, and she can follow that. That I will tell you, The Argentinian government is open and they are running, so we were able to negotiate with them. There are many things we wanted to do. We want to get money out to our farmers, especially our soy farmers, but the government has been shut down. So I think the Democratic senators, I'd say to the moderate Democratic senators, you can be heroes, reopen the government.
And so, folks, this right here is one of the things that I actually love the most about President Trump's administration right now. They're not just sitting idly by and taking all of the lies and abuse from the Democrats. They're actually flipping things back on them, setting the record straight, and making all of them look like the hypocritical idiots that they really are. But now, Secretary Besant also tied all of this into the ongoing government shutdown, of which today is day number 28. So on that note, let's see how this shutdown is really going right now. Take a look.
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Even CNN, with all of their biased polls, can't deny the truth that across this country, Americans are blaming the Democrats for the ongoing shutdown. And of course, the reason why is because Americans not only understand that the Democrats have manufactured this entire situation, but also, in spite of this situation, President Trump is still making massive moves, just like he did with Argentina. But now, while we're speaking about President Trump's deal with Argentina, there's actually another huge aspect to this entire situation that I personally haven't seen anyone else really talking about. You see, as many of you might know, perhaps the single most important and single oldest piece of American foreign policy is called the Monroe Doctrine, which effectively states that the entire Western Hemisphere, from the South Pole all the way up to the North Pole, must be maintained in accordance with the national security interests of the United States of America. And as many of you might have noticed, Argentina pretty much reaches all the way down to the South Pole. So considering that we live in a time when China and various other nations are actively trying to aggressively push out their sphere of influence directly into our hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere, maintaining a relationship with Argentina is actually incredibly important. So folks, here's really the massive point that I'm trying to make here. The degree to which President Trump is able to, time and time again, consistently take out two birds with one stone is actually astounding. And he's always able to do it when confronted with a never-ending series of attacks from the radical left. So you know what? As I like to say, this is just yet another example of why we voted for President Trump, because this is what it looks like to finally put America first.